All right, here we go. Here we go.
Hello.
Hey, y'all, it is Casandra Bollinger, and it is a Work It Wednesday. It's Wednesday night. I'm so excited. I have a lot of stuff that I want to try and cover in a short amount of time, but we will see how it all goes. You know me, sometimes I'm overwinded and then underwinded. Tonight I'm going to talk about two different things. One of them is going to be social selling versus social sharing, and the other one is going to be the incentive. So I'm going to go over the incentive first, only because I feel like it needs to go over, because that's what I'm feeling. We need to go over the incentive. So I had watched a video probably about a year or 2 years ago, and it was Jen Audette, and she had broken down every letter, made the incentive an acronym of things that you need to work on and things that you need to do to get the incentive. There's different ways to break it down. When you first look at the numbers that you're needing to be able to go on these trips, it looks overwhelming. But one thing to remember is that you have 6 months to do that. The only one that's required to do something every single month is the PRV of 1,000. Now, that PRV of 1,000 in each month, you only have to do 5 out of the 6. So other than that, everything else can be all at once. It can be broken down. It can be one each month. You can break it down any way you need to. If you do the 5 out of the 6 on the incentive or on the PRV each month, then you get into extra points. And this year they're adding in World Tour. If you go to one of the trainings at World Tour, which they normally do, I want to say that there was like 30 something last year at different places all over the United States, for anybody to be able to go to. They offered the virtual, and then of course everything went virtual because they still had stuff shut down due to the pandemic, COVID stuff. So I'm going to go down for each letter and on incentive and just kind of talk about them, and kind of go through of how to be successful with an incentive. So the first one is I, and that's income producing activities. We call them IPAs. IPAs are things that you do that brings in income. So income producing activities. Now, if you plan on doing any of these, if you don't execute them all the way, then they're just time consumers. Because if you sit there and you do a whole day of making samples, but those samples never make it out to your customers, or you're never handing them out or giving them in orders or mailing them out, then you just spent your whole day making samples. The samples need to get to people, and it doesn't have to be mailing. You could take them to your local, the bank or the grocery store. Take a couple of them with you. Make sure your information's on anything that leaves your house that's Scentsy related. And I'll tell you the reason why here in a minute. But you want to make sure that if you have to go to the doctor's office, make sure you're taking a couple of samples. Take some product sheets. Take a QR code so they can just scan it and go to your website on your phone. So the different things. So recruiting, kind of like talking to people. That is an income producing activity, because if you can talk to enough people, or if you kind of pick a category of people you want on your team, that time spent talking to them, or even watching some videos on how to talk to them. In the beginning, I know my biggest worry, and my biggest stressor was, what do I say? Like, how do I get people to join my team? How do I, what do I say? Because I wanted to be perfect. Like, I wanted to have the exact wording, the exact thing, that would work for every single person, no matter the situation. Well, that does not exist. And trust me, after the thousands and thousands of videos I've watched, it is not, it's non-existent. So talking to different recruits and having conversations with your different customers or the people that you meet. And you talk about Scentsy. I mean, this month is one of the best months to do recruiting, because it's only $22 to join, and they automatically get a $30 warmer that they can turn around and sell for $30. So they've already made a profit on just getting the kit. The second thing is booking parties. Your parties can look any which way that you want. We have the clickable links. We have a Facebook party. There's an in-house party. There's a pouch party. There's just the texting party. You can do a Zoom party. Basically, there is any way that you can get a group of people to order through one person, like through your host or through a link. You can design that any which way you're comfortable with. I did not like Facebook parties ever. I've been in like 2 other direct sales, and the Facebook parties to me did not feel very personable. At the same time as during COVID, it was one thing that everybody was doing. Everybody was doing Facebook parties because that was the only way to get a group of people on a certain page to be able to see the information and go through and be able to place orders and ask questions, that it wasn't like on Facebook. And it was a group of people. So that way, if one person asks a question, maybe somebody else already had that question in that group. And so it kind of answered them without you having to answer like 10 people back to back with the same question. The other one is, selling Scentsy. So it's having those conversations about contacting your customers, follow-ups to get them to see if they need to replenish their wax. If they've gotten a warmer, but they've never gotten your wax, what are they using it for? Asking questions from your customers to figure out what they're in need for. What do they need to smell good? Like, what is their problem areas? Everybody has a problem area in their house. If you have a mother with a whole bunch of boys that their bathroom reeks, that would be something to talk to them about the different products that we have for the bathroom. Not only do we have the bathroom cleaner that's really great on the bathtubs and the toilet, you also have the room spray for what I use for the poopery. And then you have the counter clean to get the sinks and the mirrors clean, along with, you could put a fragrance flower in there if they don't have a plug. It's a mini warmer. They can also use a Scentsy Fresh on the rugs. I mean, there's so many different attributes of products that we have that can solve an issue. We want to come up with solutions. And then the last one is sharing. Like, you have to share that you are a Scentsy consultant. If someone were to go onto your Facebook today and look through, would they know that you're a Scentsy consultant? Would they know that if they're in some local cities, Moms Talk or Town Talk or whatever some of those other groups are, if someone says, hey, does anybody have Scentsy, are they tagging you? Do they know to tag you? Do they know that you are that you're actually selling still? IPAs also, it's kind of like, so making samples and getting them out, making Happy Mail and sending those out. Your samples, the Happy Mail, all these are IPAs because they are getting to your customers. Hopefully they have something in there that's scented, even if it's a scratch and sniff or the rub and sniff stickers, little felt samples. Even if you are making larger products, getting those to them. Make sure that they have enough for at least one use of whatever it is. If it's washer whiffs, make sure it's 1 to 2 scoops. If it's the laundry, make sure you do, 2 to 4 pumps in whatever container you're giving them. Counter clean, make sure that there's more than just one little spray. You want to make sure probably giving them at least 1 to 2 ounces of counter clean so they can use that. That means they have a chance to use the product and a chance to smell and see how much. So that's an income producing activity. Scheduling my posts or my sharing on my Facebook, on my business page, and on my personal page. That is an income producing activity because it gives people a way to know what products we have. I try to be informative. At the same time, I try to be funny. I try to do interactive things. So that way my posts are seen by other people in the group when they're scrolling through Facebook. Let's see. And another thing is that you need to figure out what your why is, your income producing activity. And how would your why even associate with that? Well, when you're talking to these prospective customers or hosts for your parties or recruits, talking from your own history. Why did you join? Like, why did you even want to start with Scentsy? Like, for me, I honestly had nothing else to do, and I needed a project. I needed something that would keep me moving forward, getting up every day to do something. I needed basically some kind of accountability for me to follow through with something because I had lost my job. I didn't have anything else to do, and it was very hard to find jobs because they were laying people off because of COVID. That's my why. Now, why did I continue? Because I enjoy Scentsy. I love the products. I love being able to do trainings, answer questions. I love being able to research information. Sometimes I feel like, not that I know it all, but like I know a little bit of everything. So when someone asks, if I don't know that exact detail, I know kind of where to go to find the information that they're needing. Let's see. Oh wait. Of course, this is not like a very, okay. So that was for I. So so income producing activities, recruiting, booking, selling, sharing, Scentsy, stepping outside of your comfort zone, stepping outside of your circle. Sometimes, guys, we got to do the hard things to figure out how to get more customers. We have to do the thing that you're like in your pit of your stomach. You're like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Nope. And your head's sitting there going like, what if they ask me a question? Like, what if they are like, sure, I want to buy Scentsy. What do I say next? You know, that whole fear of like, I'm not going to say the right thing. I'm not going to give them the right sample, or I'm not going to, or maybe they're going to hate that smell and they're going to hate Scentsy forever. And we overthink everything. Doing the scary, hard things is what makes your journey satisfying, because you accomplished something. You've confronted your fears and you've done it. My biggest thing was talking to random people. Like, how do you just talk to random people? Like, I don't like to talk to people. Like, you know, if I'm at the grocery store and someone behind me tries to start a conversation, I'm like, why? Leave me alone. I just want to pay for these groceries and get out and get home and get back into my comfy pants, get back on the couch, because I know I still got to unload the groceries. And then I still got to figure out what we're going to cook for dinner, because, you know, every time I go to the grocery store, my intent is to cook something. And then, of course, I'm like, haha, we're picking up Whataburger on the way home, because then I don't want to cook. But it's talking to those people like in the grocery line or at the bank, talking to, you know, someone standing in line or the teller. And it's not about having a whole spiel. It's just having something to have a conversation about. I wear my Scentsy shirts, like the one I'm wearing today. I'm kind of going to do this. This just has, it's the team name, and it says with Cassie. And I have some other ones that I'm going to have made that just say Scentsy. Ask me about wax, or ask me about my Scentsy. I'm going to have some basic created, because sometimes when we overthink and try to be really cutesy, the whole intent gets passed over. Let's see. All right. So the next one is never compare, no right or wrong. So the compare game. Now, earlier, before I got on to the Facebook group, we kind of talked about like where everybody's at with the incentive, kind of what's going on. And instantaneously, if I said I was going to do, my plan was to do $100 a day, there were certain eyes that opened up of like, oh my gosh. And I know in your head, you're probably thinking, I can't do $100 a day. Oh my goodness. Well, guys, I'm not expecting anybody to do $100 a day. It's taken me, I'm a 2.5 year overnight success. Like, I have taken this much time to be able to have that as a goal, like have that as a possibility to get there. It is not something that you wake up and you log into Scentsy and you sign up and you're making $100 or you're selling $100 a day. I mean, it is not that. It used to be like that with during the pandemic, but it's not right now. But it's not something that happens overnight. There's a lot of planning, and there's a lot of follow-up. There's a lot of continually making sure that they are getting the purchases that they need, or when they let me know that I only have 2 bars left, and they normally take me about a week or so, like, I'll check back with you at the end of the month, and then checking back with them. If they make a comment like, I really want to try that laundry stuff. I got that sample, I used it and I loved it. But, you know, I just always forget. Every time I run out, I ended up going to the store and I get some of that. And then I want to wait till that's gone before I order, but then I forget. And that's like talking about club, getting it to where it automatically ships to their house. There's so many different layers of things that you can do. But the comparing, I'm getting sidetracked. Don't compare. My journey has been an up and down. It's crazy. It's sporadic. My life is changing on the outside of Scentsy, all around it. But there's no reason to compare what I'm doing from what you're doing. My goals is to do this full time, 100%, and not do anything else. That may not be your goal. And if it is your goal, you may not be in a position to do that yet. I mean, we all have a different way of how our mind thinks of how we want to get there. We may have the same destination, but our journey to get there may be different. I had to overcome a lot of mountains, and my mountains were my demons of telling me that I can't do this, that it's not going to work. I'm horrible. I'm not going to be able to go online and talk to people. I'm not going to be able to message. My communication skills like my interpersonal skills, aren't easy for me. I have a hard time doing a chit chat, like the small talk. I can't do small talk. It's hard. Like that's forced for me to have a small conversations of like, hey, how's the weather? Or, are you enjoying the weather? How about them Cowboys? That conversations are very forced. It sounds so fake. It's never something that I wanted to do. And I had to figure out a way to talk to people that for me, it wasn't a small talk. I have to make sure that I'm relating myself to them so that they feel a connection. And then I remember things about them. I make sure that if they say that their, dog was sick last week, then when I check back up with them, I'm like, hey, how is so-and-so? Of course, I do always check their Facebook just to make sure that I'm not asking a question on the day that they posted something about their dog passing. But that's how I also interact online, is through their Facebook page and their posts. Now, if you're comparing what you're doing now with what I'm doing now, it's not going to be the same. If you don't have a team of 34, if you are not married to a husband named Blake and have 4 daughters and have to deal with the everyday of working from home, being home all the time, then your journey is not the same as mine. I mean, if you're not in your OU slippers right now doing a training, then we are not on the same page. We are not on the same path. So you have to remember, do not compare. The journey and your success is determined by you. Your journey can take a change at any point in time. It always makes you remember chutes and ladders. And that game as a kid where you have, if you hit a certain mark and you hit just right with the right number of spaces, then you're able to go up on the ladder. But the same thing goes for if you land on one of the snakes, then you have to slide all the way back down, back to where you were at. And that's kind of like our journey with Scentsy. It's always going to have the ups and downs. You're going to have those months that are really great and everything feels like it's going like on path. And then you're going to hit that snake and you're going to slide back and you're going to have to figure out like, okay, now something's not working. What am I not doing? Or what should I be doing? Or maybe what do I need to try and tweak or, pivot and try to figure out a different way to look at it. You also want to make sure that you are building yourself up. This business and this, I guess, the Scentsy family is just that. There are many, many people in this organization and through the Facebook groups and through this team here that will build you up on the days that you are down. It's hard to trust people and it's hard to have that relationship, but sometimes you have to give a little bit of yourself to have someone else feel comfortable. I'm very vulnerable with you guys. I let you know how bad my depression is. I let you know what's going on in my life because I want you to know that it is okay to share. I want you to know that it's okay to have life problems because we all go through them. Nobody is perfect. Nobody has the perfect life. And there's a way to connect with a small group of people that we are all on the same journey. We all kind of have a same destination. Or maybe I could say, maybe we were definitely going to the same continent or maybe the same state, but maybe we're not all going to the same place. Maybe I can say it that way. And then you also have to have belief in yourself. Like you need to know that you can do this. There is nothing on the Scentsy journey that is life-threatening. There is nothing here of what you're doing that you're going to die from. Like if you go and make a post or go live, you're not going to die. I promise you. It's going to be scary. You're going to be nervous. You're going to be worried. You're going to overthink it. You're going to think that my hair doesn't look right. My face, I didn't put my makeup on right. The shirt doesn't look right. It's sitting weird. There's something in the background. Something looks weird over there. I'm going to fumble over my words. I'm going to do this. I know you're going to think that. But then when you do it and you're done and you're like, oh my gosh, why did I worry so much? And then the next time you're like, oh my gosh, but something is not right. It doesn't feel right. Like I'm not having a good day. And I don't want to go live and open this box. I don't want to do this because what if someone gets on there or what if nobody gets on there? Like, what if nobody sees my video or nobody cares? You know, what am I going to do then? Because then, I mean, if nobody watches, then I'm a failure. So you want to make sure that you are believing in yourself. If you need an audience and you need to have someone watching you, you need to have someone to cheer you on as you're going through on a live or maybe in a Facebook group or in a party, maybe one of the parties you have, guys, I'm available. Like my calendar right now is open. Like, you know, the old open, open, open. I think that was Michael's or no, it wasn't Michael's. It was like Ross or something. Marshall's. It was Marshall's. Anyways, but you need to have belief in yourself. Letter C for incentive is core. It says the cores. So your 4 cores of this business kind of goes back through that we have a Mervyn's. Thank you. I knew it was something Marshall's, Mervyn's. Thank you so much, Crystal. We've talked about, and we haven't talked about in a while, and maybe I will need to do a training on it, but the 3 legs of success. But there's actually 4 things whenever you do the 3 legs of success, because you have the legs and then you have the base. And it goes through parties for your PRV, sponsoring, basically your follow-up and mentoring, and then growing yourself, your self-care, taking care of yourself. If you are not in the right spot and you are overwhelming yourself with either life or you have something else going on, sometimes taking a step back and knowing when to take a step back to have a better outlook. I always relate this when I'm talking to my kids of when they used to throw tantrums. They would have these huge, like, life was crumbling, the sky was falling, and I would have to tell them, you know, go to your room, take a moment, like take a moment to yourself. Your emotions and the way that you feel are okay. Go take a moment and then decide if you want to come back out, and then we're going to have a conversation. There's no reason to force anything. If you are not wanting to recruit, there is nobody here forcing you to recruit. If that just absolutely gives you the anxiety, panic attacks to the point where you are not moving, then don't recruit. Don't ever focus on that. Eventually, you will get to a point where people will start coming to you and ask you. What else? So like the 3 legs test. So we have the sales, the sponsoring, the coaching, and the self-care. So that is the cores, the 4 cores of this whole business. And it's a constant rotation. Like, it's not just focus on one. It's kind of like you focus on one and then you move to the other one. You kind of go back to this one and then you move to this one and then add number 3. And then you go back to 1, you do 2, you do 3, and then you do 4. And then you're back to 1 and then 2 and then 1 and then 1 and then 2 and then 1 and then 2. So like, it's a constant rotation. So when people normally start, some people are like, so what exactly do I have to do? Like, what is the first thing I need to do, because I'm just going to follow this. I know it's steps 1, 2, and 3. What's 1, 2, and 3? And I'm like, well, number 1, you got to tell everybody. And I'm like, okay, I did that. I told everybody. And I'm like, ooh, well, then you have to tell more people. Like, you have to keep talking. You have to keep telling more people. And you still have to do it. Like 2.5 years later, guys, I still have to talk about I'm the Scentsy lady. I still have to remind the people on my Facebook, I'm the Scentsy lady. I still have to talk to people on a daily basis that I'm reaching out to. I'm contacting that, hey, you know, I'm your Scentsy lady. I know you ordered from me like a year ago, just checking to see how everything is. You have to just keep going through each one of those cores, each one of those steps, because if you concentrate on just one, other things will start to fall apart. E, earn the rewards. For the incentives, the other things that there are other things throughout this entire and through Scentsy that we have, there's yearly awards. Earning any of these other awards helps to completing an incentive, because if you're working on one all year round, then what you're doing all year round will help you do the incentives, because the incentives are normally broken down by PRV, by recruiting, and then by mentoring. And the mentoring is not only do they join and they get certified, but they actually have to move throughout the company. They have to get promoted. They have to learn themselves how to recruit, how to build a team. And then that's where, like, you can't just have one without the other. Now, I have always had enough PRV to always get level, like whatever the highest level was. Disney was, I had all the way to level 4. But I couldn't follow through with the sponsoring. Like, I had the PRV, but I couldn't get the sponsoring. And that's always a struggle for me, because I never want to bother anybody. And I have to remind myself, and I have days that I have to remind myself, I'm not bothering them. I'm offering them the opportunity. I'm offering them a way, because they don't have money to get money. Even if, even if they're only getting $20 a month, that's $20 more than they had last month. If it's $50, it's $50 more. I don't know what blessing this will be for them. For me, having a $600 to $800 paycheck consistently every single month since I've started has been a godsend. Now, there's been a couple of months that it dropped down because I didn't even hit the 2,000. But for me, it was still income coming in that was like extra. That was way I could pay my car payment. I needed to pay all my bills, but when I got my other job, it was just to pay off my car. The annual sales award is $30,000 starting on May 1st until April 30th. So it's $30,000 in PRV over the whole year, I guess Scentsy's fiscal year, and that earns you the annual sales award. The reward comes with a trophy, a frame. It's like a crystal frame, which I actually have back over here, and along with $1,000 that gets deposited into your account. The other one is annual mentor award. That is when you have 14 plus people that have signed up with you and got certified. That means not only are you bringing people the opportunities, that you're also training them, and you're also showing them and coaching them how to succeed in this business. So earning those like yearly awards help you when you start working on those incentives, because the incentives normally only last like 6 months or 4 months. They don't last all year round. They're smaller portions to get us through for the whole year. Let's see. Never give up. Brush it off. Make a change. Focus on what's going right. Jackie Duran talks about every single month. Every day of the month, she's writing down her PRV, what her PRV is and what her GWV is for her whole group. She does that every day. And then at the end of the month, she basically reflects how this whole last month went. So that way she kind of looks, oh, wow, I did really well on the first of the month. That means she probably had pre-orders. There was a big change on the 15th. There was, oh, I can tell these were Scentsy clubs that hit this day. So my Scentsy clubs are exceeding what I expected, or, like a lot of them hit all this month. You can kind of go back and look through your history, your order history, to kind of see where things are at. But if you have a step-by-step, day-by-day of where your PRV is at, the days you need to focus on. So if you have a Scentsy club, like all of mine hit on the 12th, 12th and the 13th. All of my Scentsy clubs hit on those days, because I have 2 different clubs and I have 2 different monthlies. Then I have one that's bi-monthly and then one that's quarterly, because I wanted to make sure I understood how Scentsy Club worked. But you can focus on like, wow, I hit really good PRV by the middle of the month. And then maybe after that, you start recruiting. Or you can say like, man, I waited till the last week every month. Why do I wait till the last week to get all of my PRV in? Why do I wait till the last week to be able to put those orders in? You can start saying, well, whatever I was doing to get them at the end of the month, maybe I need to push that to get them at the beginning of the month. That way I'm not playing catch up and trying to scramble to get whatever I need left over. It's basically pre-selling whatever's releasing on the first. Maybe it's taking those pre-orders. Maybe it's telling everybody ahead of time that there's orders that can be placed on the first. The more you have in the beginning of the month, the rest of the month ends up going a little smoother because you're not scrambling to try to hit that goal of whatever you picked. But just don't give up. It's the difference if you're taking a break and taking a moment to yourself and stepping away. If that's for you a day, a week, a month, 6 months, you take that time. But don't give up. Make sure that you're still consistently doing something. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying to touch everything every day, but if you at least like send out Happy Mail once a month. So you're taking a step back. And if you happen to have any orders online that you're still following up with those customers once a month, you're sending them a thank you note. If that's by text, by email, by like actual mail, then doing something of that sort every single month. And that way you have one day, you're touching your business at least once a month. If there is something that is impeding on you, like you just feel like you can't close this party or this happened and this customer got really upset, it starts to get us down on ourselves. Like, why did we do that wrong? Why didn't we know that was going to happen with that warmer? Or why didn't we, like, what do I do if the customer breaks the warmer? Like, how do I replace it? Those type of things is something that you take the stress off of yourself. Reach out to me, reach out to our group chat, reach out to your direct upline, ask them, tell them the situation of why you're now stressing. And it's like, now I don't know what to do. Now I feel like I have to buy them the $80 warmer. I can't afford to do that. And, they're yelling at me, telling me that I'm a horrible person, and they're going to start telling everybody else, and I don't know what to do. I've been through situations like that, so I know how to talk with a customer. I also know a way to talk with customer service. And there's other ways that we can help that customer without breaking the bank, without having to buy that whole warmer by itself. But try and focus on the positive, good things that you're doing. So if you make a post and you get an order from it, then be like, why? Okay, why did that post work? Let's analyze that. Why did that post catch her? Did it happen to be the right time, the right day? Maybe that was something that you took great wording, or maybe you were able to copy and paste it from someone else and you tweaked it to make it sound like you. So think about that, of like, focus on what's going right. Hey, my Scentsy clubs are up, and this month I have 5 of them running, or I have 10 of them running. That would be something like, I'm focusing on, I do have Scentsy Club. I may not be getting my daily orders. I may not be able to get, closing out a whole bunch of parties, but your Scentsy Clubs are up. T, 2-year plan. Guys, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is not a race to the first one to get to the finish line. This is a long-term company. This is somewhat, people have been in this company since day one. They've been in here since, because it started in 2004. We're about to come up to our 20th anniversary. We have people that have been in for 14, 15, 16, 17 years. This is a longevity company. The honest to goodness plan would be a 2-year plan. And what you focus on is 2 people a month and 2,000 a month in PRV. That is what you need to shoot for. Like, that is the ultimate goal to do. And then it's not saying it's all going to happen today and it's not going to happen this month. That is what you want to get up to consistently. 2,000 a month with 2 people joining every single month. And if you continue to work on that, and that is what your goal is, then that's what you can achieve. In 2 years, if you are consistently getting 2 people to join, you're consistently making, 2,000, or you're selling 2,000 a month in PRV, your business is going to thrive. because that means you're talking to people. And when people join, you're replacing those with newer customers and you're helping them grow their team while you are working on growing your PRV. And then you have another person join now. That means you have to replace those customers and you are working towards that. I is invest in yourself. Guys, invest in yourself. And it doesn't mean investing like, let's go spend a lot of money. Like, that does not mean saying, oh, I got to go buy myself a new car. That way, whenever I go do deliveries, that I'm driving in style. Invest in yourself is invest in what you want, like you want your business to be. Invest in yourself. That could be help, like the self-help books. That could be trainings. That could be going and doing yoga classes. It could be something physical. Like it could be like, I'm going to start working out, or I'm going to start walking. I'm going to start taking care of myself so I can continue just living life. The investing in yourself is either grow your mind, grow your body, or grow your spirit, or, you know, or your soul, however you want to look at it. But you want to grow the different attributes of you. So if you want to grow your mind, then start reading books. There's a lot of different programs that, like the 75 Hard that a lot of people have been talking about, is reading 10 minutes a day. It just has to be a nonfiction book. So 10 minutes a day. It's 2 times of activity, 1 indoor, 1 outdoor, 30 minutes each. So an hour a day, but it's 2 different times, has to be at least 3 hours in between. Like it's a whole, but it works on your mind, your body. And then it talks about meditation. That's taking a moment for you to meditate. It doesn't mean doing the I mean, it might take that moment that you just need to connect with yourself. But your meditation could be something else. It could be you going out and working in your yard, or you going out and taking the kids to go play, or they're, you know, or you're out with the water hose and you have them running around. Maybe that is your meditation, because sometimes it's what makes us happy or makes us connect to either ourselves or family. That is what we need. Maybe it's just sitting in quiet room, in a dark room with nothing going on. So you want to make sure that you are investing in yourself and you are growing something of you every single day. It doesn't have to do anything with Scentsy. You taking a walk doesn't have anything to do with Scentsy. You reading a book because it talks about gardening has nothing to do with Scentsy. It's growing your mind. Value. V is for value. So the value, give value to our products. Value to our products. This is going to kind of relate to whenever I start talking about the selling versus sharing. But if you just post the air purifier and say, this is awesome. Well, someone's like, well, how much is it? And they're like, you're like $250. They're like, whoa, no. Like, I'm not spending $250 on an air purifier. Like, what does it do? Well, if you talk about like, it cleans your air. Like it takes the particles out. It's, you know, 99.7% of air, pollens and toxins and mites get taken out of the air. It also, with our purifier, you have 2 different settings. You can have high or low. You can turn the light on or turn it off. It tells you when there is toxins in the air. When I cook bacon, it is not like bacon, guys. It's something with the air. And I think someone told me at one point that when you cook bacon, you have to have the vent on because the particles get into your lungs and you can die from bacon smoke, I guess. I don't know. But it doesn't like the particles in the air, but it tells you when there are particles. That tells you that it's cleaning right now. You can leave it on for 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, or wait, 2, 4, and 8. So if you don't want it running all day, it doesn't have to. You can say, I'm going to run it in the morning, or I'm going to run it at night, and it turns itself off. Now me, I leave mine on 24/7, just like I do my warmers. I have a warmer sitting back next to the one in my the one in my bedroom. So the warmer with brand new wax and sitting there warming does not have toxins in the air. But if I do my vape right next to it, that thing turns bright red and it goes into full gear. Giving our products value, it's hard to do when you've never used them. And I use the air purifier because it is just a high-end item. But it really is amazing, because when I lay down at night and that thing is running, it took me a minute to get used to the consistent hum, but I have it on low. I have it to where it's set on low. Like it does not go into full mode, even if if I'm vaping or if there's something else in the air, it just stays on low 24/7. But I'm sleeping better. I have just seasonal allergies. So I don't have allergies to where I have to go get shots or I have to be on certain medications. It's basically just whatever the seasons change. My nose gets congested, my eyes start to water, or they're itchy and dry. And I constantly have that runny nose or that cough. It doesn't solve it completely, because I don't have them in every single room, and I'm not going to sit here and walk around with air purifier while I'm walking through the house. The door gets opened up when Blake comes home or they leave and in and out. So there's times that I leave the house, but I sleep better with that air purifier on. So the quality of air I'm getting is better. If you hadn't used that, you can use my story. If you need to have suggestions on stories, you can use my story and be like, I don't have one, but my upline, or our trainer, or however you want to name me, my Cassie, she has one, and this is how she likes it. Like, this is what she says it does for her. You can use those stories that you've read on either some of the other Scentsy pages, that people want to know, why is that value? It's in here. Yes, it is sitting here. The other thing is, if you don't have any of our products, then you need to invest in this. This product training guide is this is like gold. Like, this is your playbook, guys. This is how you come up with information. Seriously, it talks about all of our different products. It tells you sales tips. Like, it tells you. So if you don't have our warmers, you don't use our wax, you don't use our body products, our pet line, our cleaning stuff, the air purifiers, the pods, the diffusers, if you don't use any of that, you need to invest in this. I get 2 of these. Now I'm going to be getting 3, but I'll get 3 of these every season. One sits in my office, one sits in our living room, and the other one will go with my husband to his job. So that's the 3 that we have. That way, if I'm in here and someone asks me a question, I can read about it. I mean, the sales tips. Look, encourage your friends and family to make a wish list of everything they want. Show them how much free products they can earn if they host a party. Follow up a week after delivering an order to answer any questions or make sure that the customers enjoy their new goodies. 1 or 2 months later, ask if they're ready to reorder. Like, these are sales tips. These are different tips on different products. The Scentsy Pets sales tip: explain which products to use on which pets. So the Best Buds pet shampoo is for both dogs and cats. It includes cleansing agents to clean the skin and coat and must be rinsed off. And it talks about the detangler, the freshen up puff, the deodorizer. This tells you everything you need to know on how to give our products value, why they need to spend the money, because sometimes they just need a reason. Like, I'm looking for one, but it's just too expensive. And so then that's when you can talk to them. Well, it's a $250 product. We can put it in a party. That's $25 that you get in free credit. That's a half price item that you can use. So you can get everything that you need with the air purifier, the filter, the pods, and we can get it all for a discount. But they need to know why they're even spending the $250. The value. Evaluate regularly. This is E. Evaluate regularly. Evaluate the systems you're using, the process you're doing to get things done. You want to evaluate just how, like, the responses. So let's take my VIP group. There are different days that I go through and I check to see what my insights are for my group. I check to see what days they're showing to be the most traffic, what times are better, and I will place specific different things on that time. Now, next week, it may be a little bit different. I may have put that there and then now it's kind of changed the algorithm. Or I may pick the least amount of time, but I know that this will get into reaction. Evaluate things that you're doing on a regular basis. Now, it doesn't mean every day, but it's kind of like my posts in my VIP. I need to evaluate that basically on a regular basis. How did my post do yesterday? How did they do last week? What post do I have scheduled for today? And what post do I have scheduled for tomorrow? So for me, that is a daily evaluation. If you're only posting once or twice a week, or maybe 3 or 5 times a week, then you can probably start evaluating like once a week. If you're only posting once or twice a month, then you only need to evaluate like once a month. Like, did those 2 posts happen to be successful? Did I get any responses? Did I follow up with anybody who reacted or commented? Evaluating your process of what you're doing, the different systems. Like, remember, systems are small things, small steps consistently over and over is creating your system. So if you're constantly following up and you're constantly with a follow-up, you're getting sales, and then you're getting sales, and then you're following up and you're following up and you're getting sales, that becomes a system. However it is, pen and paper, just looking at the workstation, hoping and praying that you remember it because you have a perfect brain. Any system, so any small steps that you do to get to finish something, I guess, is creating a system. So evaluate. Is the system that you've been using this month working so far? Did the system you used last month produce the outcome that you wanted? How about the last 6 months? So the last 6 months, that system that you kind of evaluated month to month, overall, how's it been doing for the last 6 months? Is it getting better? Is it not producing what it needs to? Does it need to be tweaked? Does it need to be pivoted? Does it need to be dropped completely? So the evaluation can be over different aspects. It doesn't have to be a daily thing, but it needs to be some kind of time that you, like once a month, like at the beginning of the month, or maybe on the middle of the month, or maybe the beginning of the middle. And then you do an overall checkup for the last 6 months. And then we get down to S. So S is simplicity. And the best thing that you can ever remember is KISS. Okay. Keep it simple, sister, or keep it simple, Scentsy. There was another acronym that was originally said with this, but it was basically keep it simple, stupid. But we're not going to use that. So it's keep it simple, Scentsy. So keep it simple. Guys, when we overcomplicate our systems, when we overcomplicate talking to our customers, if we overcomplicate anything, it becomes harder and harder to duplicate, harder to react and like to redo what you just did. If it is 95,000 steps to get to the place that's right there, why would you want to do that? When you overcomplicate everything, it becomes harder and harder to duplicate, and also harder and harder to recreate to help your teamies to do it. You want to figure out the most simplest way. I do say this quite a bit, and if you ever are spending more than 5 to 10 minutes on any system, application, platform, video, anything, you need to call me. You need to stop what you're doing, set your phone down. Well, don't set your phone down, but stop what you're doing and message me or call me. There are simple ways to do everything we need to do with Scentsy. If you're trying to close out a party and it is taking you 30 to 45 minutes and it's not working right, you've spent too long, because when you start getting frustrated with getting something completed and it doesn't work, your frustration level goes higher. Then your basically everything else starts going lower. Like, it's harder to concentrate, it's hard to get it done, and then the frustration goes higher, and then you can't like understand, and then you've lost the whole train of thought of what you're going to do, and then it becomes a mess. So try and get it started, you start going through it. But if you're working on something, if you're working on a Canva project and you just can't get it right because you know that there's some feature somewhere and you can't find it, and you're taking longer than 10 minutes, stop, take a step back, come back to it, if you still just can't figure it out or you can't process it in your brain, give somebody a call. You can message me, you can message the group and see if maybe someone else has done something similar. The first time I ever got into Canva was the hardest thing ever. Like, guys, I cried. I spent 2 hours staring at a white screen because I didn't want to do it wrong. And instead of just dumping stuff in there and playing with it and modifying and doing what that should have been done, I sat there and frustrated, berated myself, sat there and said, how are you so stupid? Like, why can't you figure this out? I spent 2 hours, but I didn't have anybody else to call. It happens. So that's why I try to use different systems and I tell you what I'm using. If you try a new app, like if you find an app that you're like, this is awesome, you need to share it with me because I would love to learn it to make sure that if someone else has a question, that I can help them go through it. I mean, I've used the Trello, I've used boards, I've used Project Broadcast, I used Amy until they got rid of that. I use the workstation. I use Facebook, Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I have Snapchat. I have other platforms. So I know how to use all the basics. I know on some of those different things of the different apps and things that I use, I know how to do it a little bit more proficient. I would never say I'm an expert in any of it because I always learn something new every time I get on it. But keep it simple, sister. KISS. So I gave you an acronym inside of an acronym. Isn't that awesome? So that is about the incentive. The last, I will not take, I promise it won't be more than 10 minutes, but the sharing versus selling. The VIP group that I have, you guys are welcome to use any post that I use at any point in time. I don't care if you copy and paste, but make sure that you are reading through the words. Make sure that you are tweaking it a little bit to match you. Make sure that you're using your website. Guys, if they order off of me, there's no way for me to move that order. There's no way. So make sure that when you are copying and pasting and getting into the flow and getting into the habit of posting every day or every hour or every 2 or 3 times a day, that you're taking that moment to personalize it. If you never, ever, 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 ever use a flyer ever again, it will be okay. And the reason I say this, if you go through and you scroll through your Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, they aren't posting flyers. They're not posting flyers. They are posting and taking videos of themselves. They're using products. It doesn't matter what it is. It's not just Scentsy. If you go through and scroll through, someone's doing a skit, it's and they're learning, and you can tell how their videos are changing, but they're having a conversation with themselves, and then they're lip singing over here, or they're mouthing off what someone else said, and they're doing all this stuff. But there's not just a flyer. It's not just a flat flyer. Selling is posting up a flyer and hoping and praying that someone buys. Hoping and praying that someone's going to order. If you go live and show people products, if you take a video, like I've been being very consistent, which I'm very proud of myself. My goal is to do 3 reels a week and to make sure at least once a day I have a story going on Instagram and Facebook. So I do reels over there, and a lot of them aren't even Scentsy. Like I take still pictures and make them into a reel. So basically they take those pictures and they make it into a movie. And so that way I can upload it, and then I can add music to it. And then I get to post about me making the chili mac with cornbread crust food. A lot of my stuff is food because I love me some food. I'm finding something because I love the food. I do like cooking. I don't love cooking. I like to cook. I like it when it comes together and it's amazing and people are like, that's so good. Like that actually fills me with joy. So I've been taking pictures, and I've been trying to tell myself that I need to do something other than like taking pictures of just Scentsy. But then I throw Scentsy in there, like my ABC boxes, my Amber Blake Cassie boxes. I took a video of that. I threw that up there on my TikTok, and I threw it up on my reels through Facebook and through Instagram, because I do throw Scentsy in there. But if you have your kids and they're outside playing or they're playing sports, you can take a short little video, just of them, running out in the field, or maybe they made a goal, or maybe they got a touchdown, or maybe, if they're in volleyball, maybe they would just finish serving. You can add the video or the still pictures of all that stuff, add a music to it, and just say, watching my girl, watching my boy, supporting the team. Here we go. It's not a flyer. I mean, when you think about the things that you look at when you are scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, any of those platforms, what are you looking at? What grabs your eye? Is it a picture that tells you this whole bunch of information? Now, guys, I do use flyers. I don't use them very often. I use still pictures because, like the license, I can't do anything else with those except for if I had it myself. So when we have new releases of things that we don't have, I have to use those license pictures. You cannot modify them, change them in any way. So I'm not saying to never use them, but I'm just saying if you never use them, it's going to be okay. You want to make sure that you are showing people how you're using Scentsy. Now, this is great. This is great to be able to put posts out, to be able to respond to different things. But if you are using any of Scentsy's products and your reason behind it is because you don't have enough money, then you need to make sure that you are creating a catch-all party. You need to make sure that you are on the workstation and you have at least one party that says, like this month, I would say September online orders. I have another one that says, not with a party, click me or click here. Then I have all of my other customers, different shopping links. Have a catch-all party. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Guys, what I give out to my customers are used from those parties once they hit 500. Now that they're only 350, no, I use 500 because of the amount of the half price. I don't get free shipping anymore, but at least I'm only paying $10 for shipping, and I get a lot of stuff for that $10. I will use all of my credits for scent circles. I'll do 6 packs of scent circles. I rarely buy wax. I mean, I do, but I don't. I might do a 6-pack of wax, but it's probably because a customer wanted it, or there's something I need to get. I will use it for small things. Like I don't do it for bulbs anymore because I get my bulbs in my Scentsy Club. But I will pick particular things for my ABC box, and I will make sure I bundle them. Counter cleans. So there's the classic clean, and then there's a 3 bundle for counter clean, and a 3 bundle for the Scentsy Fresh, and a 3 bundle for the soaps, and a 3 bundle for the bathroom cleaners. So you can get them in a 3-pack, or you can get one of each. I make sure that everything I do purchase is bundled and it's on discount. I don't pay full price for anything except for licensed products. That's for me. But I save those parties and I don't use them and I don't close them until I've gotten that point. So that way I have products here. And that's how I can show them. Like my fall stuff that I placed on the 1st, I didn't spend a lot of money, guys. I placed everybody else's orders that were coming to my house. I put them all on one party. I used all the half price, all the free credits, the perpetual award for myself to get the products that I wanted out of the fall or the harvest collection. I got all of them for free or half price. Every single one of them. And guess what? I have 2 parties right now that are almost ready to be used for when October 1st hits and I have the holiday collection of the stuff I want. So I don't ever pay full price, but I want to have some products here so I can show. Now, I am not doing events anymore, so I'm not having a large quantity of inventory, but these are for me. Like I'm buying stuff intentionally for me to use. Like we use counter clean every single day. We use bathroom cleaners. I don't use them every day. I use them about once a week. Maybe. Well, when I clean the bathroom. All-purpose cleaner. I don't buy a lot of it, but you can dilute it. So the selling versus sharing is if you're just posting pictures and you're just putting up there, buy this. Now I know it's hard with some of those bundles and you can't always find the live pictures, but live pictures are better than Canva pictures But my Canva pictures, like I use my Canva for all of my products that or all of my, all the stuff that I mail out, all of my mail outs, like my postcards and my stickers. So that's what I use my Canva for. Now I do have a couple of ones that I do use for my late night shopping, but it's normally put in my story, and it normally has music or it's tagged to something that has my picture on it. It's not just a flyer that has information on it. It has me, and I'm holding a cup, and I'm like, hey, you shopping late? You know, shop with me. I'm open 24/7. So just remember that whenever you are trying to make sales, if you're being salesy, you're not going to have a lot of customers buy. You're still going to get some customers to buy, but you are not going to get people to feel comfortable with you, because the way that they purchase from you is they have to like, I said, oh my gosh, why am I going blank? Something like, trust, like there's 3 things. I'm really going blank on that. They have to know, like, and trust you. That's what it is. So they have to know that you're a Scentsy consultant. They have to like you for you, and they have to trust that you are going to have what they need. Like, you have their best interest at heart. You need to know that you're not just selling them like, oh, you know, I just want to get the smell out of my car. You don't have to automatically go to the Scentsy Go. You don't have to go to the $50 item. You could say, well, you could try with Scentsy Fresh to get the scent in there. If you're wanting something more consistent than just when you spray, then that's when you start working up. But they're not going to trust you to buy a $200 or $250 air purifier if the last 2 times that they order stuff from you, you didn't give it to them, or you found out later on that there is a wax thing that's buy 5, get 1 free, and you charge them $35 instead of $30. So that's what I have for you guys today. I'm going to go ahead and take this here. I'm going to go ahead and put this into gallery. I will wait just a minute, because last time I jumped off on the online. So if anybody is on our Facebook page, on our team page, and you want to let me know that you're here, let me know. If not, I'll close it out. I'll probably wait just a couple of minutes. Let's see. I know Jessica's here, so I know she's not going to be over there. All right, I'm not seeing anything, so I am going to go ahead and close out the Facebook group. Thank you so much for joining us for Work It Wednesday. My name is Cassie Bollinger. I'm here every single Wednesday at 7:15. I open up the Zoom at 8 o'clock. We do stream to this team page. If you ever have any questions, please let me know. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful evening and have a blessed night.